always seemed to me that there's two ways life can go. What you feel and the voice you hear inside you telling you what to do, and then what your mind shows you as the rational choice. And I feel very lucky that I've always really heard that internal voice in me, that voice that's expressed to me and that shared with me the right way to go in situations and the next move to take and the direction that would lead me to the most passion and the most truth is what I believe in. And I want to share a bit of my story where a big blossoming took place with this intuitive fire inside me that I let direct my life rather than directing it based on what I saw around me. So when I was 18, I left America right after graduating high school, and I decided to go to New Zealand because there was a pull in me. I had signed up for college, I was all ready to go. And it was like, go exploring, go travel to New Zealand, see what's there for you. And it seemed odd. I was only one of 3 students in my class, 300 plus kids, that didn't go right on to college. But I knew that something in me was saying to do that. So I went and I landed in New Zealand without a plan, without a ticket home. But I let my internal guidance direct me. And I found myself in the most amazing experiences and opportunities. Traveling and volunteering and meeting so many people and being a part of different groups and different projects that were growing. And then before coming home a year later, I thought, I'm on this side of the world, I'm going to go to Bali. And I spent 3 beautiful weeks in Bali, and I fell in love with it. And I was exploring so much about myself and things I'd always yearned to know more about, yoga and meditation and connecting to my sensuality, things that didn't really seem accessible in the small world I was a part of. And I had a flight home, and I had everything lined up for me. I had a lover who was waiting from the year before. I had school waiting for me, sending me letters, we're so excited for you to attend. I had a summer job lined up. My family was expecting me. My brother was ready to come pick me up that night at the airport. And I went down to Denpasar, here's the airport in Bali, and I was there 3 hours before I was supposed to be there. 3 hours before the 3 hours you're supposed to be there for an international flight. And I was just crippled in the airport. My tummy was hurting. But I knew, I got this flight home, running out of money, running out of plans, and everything set up for me at home. And I checked in, first one there, just sitting on the benches in the gate. And 1 hour goes by, 3 hours goes by, and I can't move. I'm stopped. My body has shut off, and I'm purely just experiencing my emotions and my guidance. Don't go home. There's nothing for you at home. Keep exploring. You've opened up the doors. Continue. Trust. And then 5 minutes before the gate's closing, and this woman walks up to me in her flight attendant gear and says, Kelly, you've checked in, you need to get in your seat, get aboard the plane. The flight's leaving. And I didn't say anything, I just looked at her blankly. She said, are you coming on the flight? And as I looked at her, and I was feeling all these resonant no's. No, no, no. And what about the money? No. What about school? No. Do I want to stay in Bali? Yes. Is there something here more? Yes. And I just looked at her and I said, no. I'm not getting on this flight, actually. And she was astounded. The seat was already ready, everything was set up. And she said, are you sure? And I said, yeah. And I turned around with my one little bag I was traveling with, and I walked out of the airport. And with my last $20, I got a cab back to the place where I was staying, where I had friends. And it had been a whole turn in events since that moment. Only 2 weeks later, absolutely unexpected. I'm so grateful that I didn't take that flight, because I met the love of my life. And I've explored so much of my internal passions and gifts that I want to share with this world. And they're in a way that don't fit the linear box. They don't fit the regime of what's supposed to be done. But I know that so many of you feel that as well. To not do what's meant to be done, to explore what you really want. So I let my internal guidance guide me. And I invite you to as well.